Hello everyone, it's Gromit and ThomasFan01 here, and welcome to my cracking video. Wallace and Gromit are one of Aardman's most popular franchises. With over 30 international awards, translated into over 30 languages, and with loads of fans from around the world, their adventures have been enjoyed by millions of people, and it is clear to see why they are one of Aardman's popular brands. However, despite having appeared in commercials, games, merchandise, the BBC proms, and even their own theme park ride, they haven't appeared in a proper film since 2008's A Matter of Life and Death. But then, in 2024, Wallace and Gromit made their grand return in an all-new feature film called Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance, Most Fowl. Vengeance Most Fowl was written by Nick Park and Mark Burton and was directed by Nick Park and Merlin Crossingham. It was also produced by Richard Beek and features music from Hollywood composer Lorne Balfe and longtime Wallace and Gromit composer Julian Knott. So with this being Wallace and Gromit's cracking return, does it shine like the blue diamond, or is it as bad as the evil Norbot gnomes? Well, let's delve into the story and find out. Ever since being put behind bars by Wallace and Gromit, Feathers McGraw, the master criminal from the wrong trousers, has sworn revenge on the duo for many years, but has never found the right time to carry out a plan to give the duo their comeuppance that he feels that they deserve. Meanwhile, Wallace, voiced by Ben Whitehead, has been making loads and loads of inventions to make his life easier, while Gromit is finding it very stressful that his master is now becoming more reliant on them. Soon, Wallace invents a smart gnome named Norbot, voiced by Reece Shearsmith, to help Gromit with his garden chores, and claims that Norbot is his greatest invention yet. Wallace then decides to open a garden and maintenance service called Gnome Improvements. He and Norbot are soon on the TV on the news channel Up North News. By now, everyone is wanting Wallace and Gromit's help to clean their gardens. But Feathers sees Norbot on the news, and while Wallace and Gromit are in bed at night, Feathers hacks into Norbot's system and changes his settings to evil. Soon, Norbot is hard at work creating a gnome army and uses them to steal the garden tools and supplies to build something big to help free Feathers from the zoo. Wallace is then framed for the garden robberies, and it then falls to Gromit to clear Wallace's name and stop Feathers McGraw and his gnome army, or the cheese-loving inventor will never be able to invent again. It is such a joy to see Wallace and Gromit back on our screens in a new adventure. Just like Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget, it feels so awesome to see these characters again, as they have been absent for so long. Of course, they haven't been out of the public eye completely, but it's been such a long time since they've starred in a new movie, and Vengeance Most Fowl certainly doesn't disappoint all of the fans who have grown up with these characters. The story has everything you expect from a Wallace and Gromit film, such as dark elements, the suspenseful moments, a surprising plot twist, humorous funny moments, and an exciting action and chase sequences too. The team at Aardman have done such a phenomenal job at making this film stay true to the formula of the Wallace and Gromit films, while also referencing the previous Avengers for the first time. There are just so many satisfying references that fans will absolutely love to pause the movie and spot them all, like the motorbike and sidecar, and some of the returning background characters from The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, to name a few. We even get a cameo appearance from the farmer from Shaun the Sheep too. It's visuals like these, as well as the little background details, that make the viewing experience worthwhile. But it's not just the visuals, it also references the previous adventures with the dialogue and in the music score too. Julian Knott and Lorne Balfe's music for this movie is absolutely amazing, as it not only makes nods to The Wrong Trousers, but the other shorts like A Close Shave and A Matter of Life and Death. And yet, they somehow make it work so well for specific scenes in Vengeance Most Fowl that fans will feel very nostalgic, and that it doesn't distract from the story and take you away from the moment. But that's not all, as for the first time in a Wallace and Gromit film, we have returning characters in the movie too, like Chief Inspector McIntosh, and of course, everyone's favourite supervillain, Feathers McGraw. To me, Feathers McGraw is the biggest highlight of Vengeance Most Fowl because it really showcases what a fantastic villain Feathers is. We are basically following the story from two characters' perspectives, Feathers McGraw's point of view and Gromit's point of view. However, I feel that Feathers McGraw's perspective is so much more interesting as it really gives us more into an insight into Feathers' character. He is just such an interesting villain. The way he doesn't have any expression and just has that deadpan look makes him even more engaging as a villain. You can understand his motives on wanting to get revenge on Wallace and Gromit, as they were the ones who put him behind bars. He is also a very calculating villain too. Just a slight blink, head turn and music cue can make you really understand what he is thinking. As for Wallace and Gromit themselves, they are just as charming as ever. Their relationship is something we really can relate to. They are best friends, one can't be without the other. Having said that, their friendship is tested in this movie, but the way they see their own faults and made up at the end of the movie is really rewarding to see and perfect for Wallace and Gromit story. Speaking of Wallace himself, I absolutely love his voice provided by Ben Whitehead. For those who don't know, Ben Whitehead started voicing the character back in 2008 in the Wallace and Gromit idents and has been Peter Sallis' understudy ever since. Ben's performance as the cheese-loving inventor is just absolutely amazing. It really shows how his voice has improved and evolved since he first voiced the character. In this movie, he is able to give the same quality to Peter's voice while also making it his own take on the character and giving such an emotional range for when the story requires him to be scared or emotional too. The animation is phenomenal as always. What I love about the animation in this film is that Aardman has been able to embrace using some CGI elements to give Wallace and Gromit's world more depth, like steam in the teapot and water effects as well. These visual effects really enhance the world more and gives it a sense of reality too. As for the stop motion itself, it's fantastic as ever. The animators at Aardman always go above and beyond by bringing these wonderful characters to life, especially through mute characters like Gromit and Feathers McGraw. All of the animators give so much expression to these characters, and even with the characters that have speaking roles too, which is something I endlessly admire from the Aardman team. Even though I give praise for the film very highly, there is a slight nitpick that I'm not too keen on with this movie. While voice actors like Ben Whitehead and Peter Kay as Chief Inspector McIntosh are brilliant, I'm not too keen on Lauren Batel's performance as PC Mukherjee. For those who don't know, PC Mukherjee is a young policewoman that McIntosh is training before he goes into retirement. The problem I have with Lauren's performance as the character is that it feels too young for a policewoman. I feel that her other performance as PB in Aardman's other TV series, Lloyd of the Flies, was even better than her voice in Vengeance Most Fowl. Lauren suited the role of PB very well, as she is the youngest sister to Lloyd. She was able to give that energy and sarcasm to PB that it suited that character in my opinion. Whereas her role as PC Mukherjee in Vengeance Most Fowl, while she was able to still give that energy and humour with her voice, it just feels it doesn't suit the role of her voice in this character. Maybe if they found a voice that had the same energy, but a little bit more mature sounding, but she is still a great character. So all in all, I feel that Wallace and Gromit Vengeance Most Fowl is an absolute masterpiece. It just has a fantastic story, elements from the previous movies, fantastic animation and music, and then it feels like a real love letter to the Wallace and Gromit legacy and a perfect Aardman movie for everyone. It is a brilliant comeback for the duo and an absolute masterpiece that will be loved by fans old and new. I'm Gromit and Thomas Fan01. and I hope you enjoyed the video.